Hi chaps, just got a bit of time to spare to make up a curry paste, curry sauce to freeze. You can freeze this into 4 portions, one of which I'm going to use during the week for a dinner. But it's just one of those things you can prep ahead of time, stick it in the freezer and have it, there, nicer than a prepackaged sauce, not full of preservatives and other bits and bobs that you don't need. And this one's really tasty. So I was just going to run through it, take you along for the ride. You can cook this in, I'm pretty sure you can cook it in most other models of Thermomix. Obviously this is the new TM7, so as we go on I'll show you a few of the new features as well. Obviously we've got this huge screen, and you can see we've got like a little ingredients list here now, so makes it a lot clearer. You don't have to keep pressing next like you did on the TM5 and TM6. You can check them off as you go if you want to, but you don't have to. Turmeric, I haven't quite got enough turmeric, so I'm just going to whack in a little bit of dried, maybe about a teaspoon. Just pop that in as well. I can tick that off. Galangal, which you can't find everywhere, but I found this at Spod Shed, so I was pretty happy with that. Ooh, we're a gram short. So normally if you're within this little green zone here, it will automatically pick up that you've put the right amount in and it will check it off for you. Just pop the lime leaves in. I found my galangal this week at Spod Shed, but if you found it somewhere and you want to buy, a decent amount, what I do is I just chop it into chunks and pop it in the freezer. And so it's there fresh when I need it, just in case I can't get it. I'll go in with the veggie oil. I'll try and get this bang on, and then you can see the little green. It's quite satisfying. It makes a little ding when you get it. Okay, there we go. So now it will. And I've just splattered oil all over the screen. It won't really care, but I'm just going to stop it smearing everywhere. Okay. Then I suspect it's going to want a lid. So this is called the digital twin. It tells you basically it's foolproof. So it tells you it wants you to put the lid on. Unlike previous models, you've got to have this in the middle, lined up with the handle, and then you just give it a little press. Make sure your lid cap's on, which is a little bit like the measuring cup that we had with the other ones, but it doesn't measure, it's just a lid. So that sits on there. Give it a little spin to the left, and then we just press play. Okay, so let's have a little look. That was a turbo chop, so it's basically chopped everything up. I can still see a few big chunks in there. So I might actually just grab the spatula and I will just repeat that quickly. Maybe okay, because I can't remember if we blend this at the end. If you want to go out and see your future steps, you can scroll all the way down here if you want to, or you can actually go back out of the recipe and go to preparation, and it will show you all the steps listed here. So in actual fact, I don't need to re-chop, because we can see here that at the end we're going to blend it into a smooth paste. So that's awesome. We can get back to where we left off. Step 2 of 13, we just tap on there. We've done our chop, so we can press next. I've scraped down. Now we're going to put some chili paste in. See if we can get this about right. Ooh, we've gone just over. That's all good. And then turmeric. Bit more dried turmeric. 3/4 of a teaspoon. I love these little check boxes, but they're not a bit OCD. So. Okay, Lid goes back on, little press, and it's all ready to go. No knobs to spin. You just press play, and I'll see you back in 15 minutes. I'm back. So it's had its 15 minutes cook time, and it's now telling me to take the lid off. The lid is a magnetic closure now, so that's how it knows when the lid is on and off. I'm loving it because the arms from the TM5 and the TM6, you used to have to wait about 3 seconds or so for them to open to unlock the lid at the end of cooking, but also I was forever sloshing food on them, and then I had to wipe them, and they were just a really awkward shape. So lid off. Okay, and as you can see, it's just auto teared. So we've still got a tear button, but on the previous two models, when you took the lid off, you would go into a minus grams potentially if you took it off after everything had, stopped and settled. And just because I'm talking about it, it's defying me now. If it does that, you can press it back to 0, but essentially it tears itself. You little beast. Stay. Okay. No, it doesn't want to stay. I don't know why it's doing that, but we're just going to carry on. Okay, so coconut water, 300 grams-ish. I think I've got 350 in this can, but... So it says on the can, we'll see. There's our 300. Still got a little bit left. I'm just going to slosh it in. It's not going to make a huge difference. I've got coconut cream in my little jug. Auto tear. So as soon as you tick your little box... Oh! I think I've got something under my little scale foot or something. 500 grams. It's being a bit cheeky. But hey, we've got to keep it real. Okie doke. So that should be just about right. That's going to tick off for us. And I've got my palm sugar all ready to go. Oh, I love that little ding. Palm sugar in, and I've just splashed myself with coconut water in typical Law of Fashion. Okay, so that's our 3 ingredients. You don't have to wait for that. You can just press next. Lid on. And we press play. Easy peasy. So just before I go again, and I'll pop back in 30 minutes, I did double check. This is a TM5, TM6, TM7 recipe, so not sure why it doesn't say TM31. I've never had a TM31. There may be an element of the recipe that the TM31 can't do, or it might make volume that's too much for the TM31 bowl because it was slightly smaller. The noise level in this TM7 model is significantly improved. They've changed the motor to a silent synchronous motor. So the noise you can hear now is just the food sloshing around in the bowl. If I'd done this in a TM6 or my TM5, you would have been able to hear the motor over the top of that. So then you'd have 30 minutes of this kind of low whirring sound. This machine is pretty much silent at the lower speeds. You can't hear the motor at all. Obviously when you're chopping, like we did at the beginning, you're going to hear some noise, but still, because it's got this insulating layer, it's still less noise. Sometimes you have to kind of put your ear to it and go, are you working? Because I can't hear anything. But it's amazing. My hubby is eternally grateful for the reduction in noise, because he couldn't stand the constant whirring in the background. I've got to admit, I made rice in the TM5 the other day, basmati. I just steamed some basmati rice to go with the curry that we were having in this machine. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to put this machine in another room, because it wasn't something that bothered me an awful lot before, but now having the quieter one, it was really noticeable, the noise, and that was at, I think, speed 4 is what it does for rice on the guided recipe. Yeah, so, yeah. I'm going to post in the comments below, there's a few recipes on Cookie Doo that use this curry sauce. They were featured in one of the Everyday Extra magazines that Thermomix put out seasonally, so roughly every quarter. I think it was the last one, the 3rd edition. And they're really good as well. You can find them at Coles and Woolies, or they do have digital copies of them on the mixshop.com, which is the, is it the mixshop.com.au? Okay, I'll be back in about 26 minutes. Okay, here we go. So that was nice 30 minutes. You have to go and do something else, maybe be productive. In my case, that involved doing some dishes and having my extremely late afternoon tea, which has turned into more of a pre-dinner entree, really. But hey, who said you can't have dessert first? It was a very nice Jaffa muffin, which the recipe is also on Cookie Doo. If anyone is keen, they are very tasty. Okay, fish sauce, 1 teaspoon. I could just wing it because I don't seem to have my teaspoon here, or we could just measure 5 grams, which is around about a teaspoon. Near enough is good enough. Back to our previous step. Okay, and instead of xanthan gum, I'm going to use some, just a slurry of cornstarch, a tablespoon of corn flour and a tablespoon of water. Just bear with me. I mixed it and then got distracted by my lovely muffin, and it has gone into a bit of a sticky paste. There we go. Okay. Fish sauce is stinky. Okay. And here is what we've got in our bowl, just so you can see. Okay, all of our little ingredients there, giving off a beautiful smell. Now we're going to cook for another 5 minutes with the lid on, and I'll be back again for the end. We're going to pop some lime juice in and then blend everything up, at which point you strain it, and then I'm going to let it cool and divide it into 300 gram portions to freeze. I'll keep one in the fridge for a bit later in the week. Yeah. Okay, I'll see you in a minute. So we're on to my next step, and my phone battery is going flat, so I'm going to hurry through. Just not used to this video filming gig, guys. You're going to have to bear with me for a little while, okay? If I'm a bit janky. Why is it doing that with the... Anyway, 20 grams of lime juice, or thereabouts, okay? And then we're going to blend. If you want to turn your volume down for this part, please do feel free. I might pause it, actually. So I'm just going to strain a bit of this now. It's just finished blending. Because if you've stuck around this long, you deserve to see some golden yellow curry goodness. The blend mode on the TM7 is great because the previous models with the dial, you had to sort of turn it up to speed 4 or whatever, and then gradually turn it up to speed 8, 10, whatever. With the TM7, I should say, it does that automatically. So as soon as you press play on blend, it will slowly increase its speed and do the whole lot itself. Right, here we go. So that essentially you're just straining off the lumpy bits. I don't think it'll all fit in this jug. I actually didn't check what volume we've got, but it's just the closest thing I had to hand. I just wanted to show you what we've got. So yeah, this will cool down, and I will freeze it. I freeze mine in like resealable bags, so I can store them flat as little packages. Alright guys, so that's basically our yellow curry sauce. If you want to know more about the TM7 or you know, any other Thermomix queries that you've got for me, I would be super happy to help you. If you want to see the TM7 live in action, flick me a message. We can get together and cook something nice together, or you can come to one of my or my team's little workshop showcase type sort of public demos. We do all sorts of things like that for whoever's interested. If you want to buy a TM7, let me know. I can send you a link to do that very quickly and easily. Other than that, guys, thank you for watching and your patience with my dodgy video making, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good night, guys. Bye.